Okay, greetings everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. Coming to you today because I've got a couple situations actually through my experience that I want to share about these old accounts that are closed. They're still there. And it's like people have been saying, you can open those accounts back up again. You can use those old accounts. So I'm going to explain two incidences where that is possible, and I've got firsthand experience. I don't have any actual evidence because I didn't video it, and I'm not going to video private interactions like that. But when I get a check, because I don't have a bank account currently, I haven't had a bank account for 7 years. And because I don't have a bank account or ID, I don't carry ID either. And when you get a bank account, you have to provide certain identification. The creation of that record is a banking record. And the United States, being its commercial element as it is a banking entity. And that's what the National Archives is all about. It's a data bank, and it's going to keep all of the data. It tells them how to run the country and make sure that it's efficient and this and that and whatever. And so when I get a check, if anybody wants to donate, they can donate through the PayPal button, or they can send a definitive paper check or money order, or I even accept products and goods in exchange. It doesn't have to be money, but when it is, when I get like a paper check, now the money orders I can usually take to a store and cash them, no problem, or I just give them to the companion and have them drop in her account. But a definitive paper check, I can go to one of the local credit unions or banks that I got and present the check, and all they have to do is know the name and the 4-digit PIN of the old account, and they can look it right up. And I've done that several times. Walked in with a check. I don't have an account here anymore, but I used to, and I no longer have ID, but I've got the PIN number for that old account. And they look it right up. No problem. No problem. All they're doing is verifying that the identification is right. Okay. So here recently, I had an issue with PayPal where I created a button and they wouldn't, because I created the new PayPal button, it changed the account. What it did was it says I purchased a new product, is what they said. And that's that PayPal button is considered a product. And in that product, the services were changed. And because the services were changed, they didn't recognize me as a valued customer. They recognized me as a new customer. So therefore, they were going to hold all the funds until I could be an accredited business setup. So I had to get online with PayPal and go through this thing of trying to get it all figured out. And come to find out, here it's been 3 weeks and 4 weeks. And what they did was they went back into the account, and you see here it says banks and cards. Like I said, I didn't have a bank account before, so this was empty. There was no connected account. Well, now I went back. I actually had a PayPal account in 2011, and then I only used it a couple times for online purchases, and then it was shut down. It was inactive. It was never used again. So it was still there. just like a bank account. And just like a bank account, or just like this current account they wanted attached to a bank account, that one was. So we just went back to the old account and used the old checking account. We opened them both up, the old PayPal account and the old checking account from US Bank. And that card isn't even around anymore. Cut up and shred, thrown away. That account still exists and it's still usable. And what happened was as soon as we opened that account, all of the funds transferred. It's known as electronic funds transfers. So it's all a matter of learning what we can do to effectuate the pass-through, because that's all those accounts are, is they're pass-throughs. You've got a beneficiary record, and that's the Social Security record, selective service record. That's the beneficiary record. On the selective service side, they're going to put you as the obligor. On the Social Security side, they're supposed to put you down as the benefactor, but they put you down as the trustee, assigned, authorized assigner, and therefore that's a trustee position, and you're looked at as being an investor into that beneficiary account because the benefactor hasn't stepped up and claimed his assets yet. And that's all it is. So when we're using these accounts, it's important to know that they still exist, even though you shut it down. It's part of the record. So that record still exists. And that's part of the problem with a lot of the things that go on in these commercial and economic environments is people don't realize how extensive that record is, and that it's meant to be entered into the National Archives as a military record. That's a military record. It's all banking. And like I said, many of us have said, and I've done my research, and now I've got firsthand experience of how this works. And as you can see, well, I guess I can't say as you can see because you can see it there, but you can't really confirm it except through me. That is an old checking account. An old checking account. Matter of fact, I might even have the checks somewhere still. Oh, look at that. There they are. Let's see. 1106 Lafayette. Oh, look at that. 2006. 10/5 of 2006. That's when they came through the mail. And that's a whole box. And that's the only book I used. All the rest are still there. Still. Ledger and everything. It's important to keep records, folks. Not only just to keep records, but it's good research material on firsthand experiences. You can go back and reflect. It's like these checks. They're carbon copy checks. There used to be a day where you didn't have the carbon copy. You'd write the check. You give it to the guy. They would take it to the bank and cash it. And no matter what bank they cashed it at, they would send you that check back because that's your security instrument. That's your record. Then they switched to the carbon copies. Now you get a carbon copy, but guess who gets the real instrument? And guess who uses that real instrument in the system to keep running and current? Yeah. Again, like I said, it's important. Both to do your research and be current on your research. And in order to be current on your research, you need to keep old research, old records. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing every petty thing in regards to some people, because some people would have storage rooms full of records. And this is why I'm trying to urge people, you're not supposed to be entering that shit in that record. You're not part of that administration and you want your freedom, then don't do that. There are ways you can do your banking. There are ways you can do your communications, your messaging back and forth. There are ways you can live your life without having to work 8 to 10, 12 hours a day, 5, 6, 7 days a week. That is not what you're meant to do. You're meant to be natural creatures doing natural things. And everybody's indoctrinated into technology, and technology is ruining your life. Playing around with it and don't even know what you're doing. I mean, crying out loud, I'm not stupid, but it took me a long time to figure it out because no one else is teaching this stuff. No one. Again, that's why I urge everybody to quit believing your neighbor, quit believing me, quit believing the government. And for crying out loud, don't believe your mother. Do your research so you know. Thanks for joining me today. I just wanted to point that out. These accounts that we use throughout our lifetime are always there. You can always go back and reopen them for pass-through purposes. It's a matter of verifying your identity, and that's it. And as long as you can prove them that you got a record here, you got a record here, you got a record here, and you're the one telling them where all the records are, they gotta have evidence that, yeah, you're correct, and that evidence is that record, and your name is on that record, so you have proprietary use. Don't let them say, well, we don't have that record. Fuck, you don't. I know for a fact you do. You are required to keep those records. It's a matter of a public record. Finances are always public. Even if you think you're being private about it, yeah, go down to that school and tell them you want to pull your kid out of school and quit sending them to public education. The word's going to be around. The hospital's going to know. The police are going to know. The state secretary's going to know. Everybody's going to know because they all communicate because it's all their information. It's all their record. Quit diddling in the middle because you ain't the middleman. All right, God bless, guys. I'm out. I've got a morning Zoom class I got to go to, and I'll see everybody later. God bless. Remember, I love you, but I don't give a fuck whether you love me back or not. That's for you to do. Have a good day, everybody.